Hi guys, my name is Danny Tolczewski.
I'm Danny's dad, Joe.
And I'm Danny's brother, Christian.
And
then we're going to tell you about Pumping Iron.
And Generation Iron.
I'm Pumping Iron 2.
And Generation Iron 2.
And Generation Iron 3. Okay. To live forever. Like Arnie. Pumping Iron. The movie that started it all. What do you think, Dan? What do you say about Pumping Iron?
I think I'll start with Pumping Iron. It was a couple big guys.
Couple big guys. Who are the big guys?
I think I even know their names though.
What's the biggest big guy in it?
Oh, the only one I know is Arnold.
Arnold.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Christian. Pumping Iron.
Pumping Iron is a classic. And it features Lou Ferrigno, Mike Katz, a little bit of Mike Menser.
Yeah, very briefly.
As well as Serge Nivray and
Franco.
Franco Colombo. Yeah.
Who it sucks because he
Just
passed
recently
away,
passed away. Yeah. And who is Arnold's partner that he's squatting with?
Ed Corney.
Ed Corney.
Classic Ed Corney. Master poser. Who also recently passed away too. Everybody thought he would live forever. So Pumping Iron for me is interesting because I was the only one here that was alive in 1977. And so nobody really knew much about bodybuilding unless you were into it, as myself and my friends were. And so this movie came out. First it was actually a book, and then that morphed into a movie. And I like Pumping Iron. Pumping Iron is really lighthearted, doesn't take itself too seriously. And I think that's the key.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it adds just enough seriousness to be a pump up for wanting to get into the gym.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. What do you think? Should we celebrate it by having a glass of milk?
Milk is for babies. When you get older, you have to drink beer.
And so Pumping Iron. Classic Arnold Schwarzenegger lines. Okay, after Pumping Iron is Pumping Iron 2.
Which you can watch on YouTube for free.
Right. And back in the day, I suppose you could have gotten it on
Laserdisc.
on beta.
And it's been a while since you guys talk about that.
Right. So, what year? We know what year that?
81?
Yeah, it was very 80-ish. It focused on the women, and it was the women bodybuilders of the 80s, which was pretty interesting to get that kind of take on it. And some of the drama between the favorite Rachel McClish and some of the others who were in it. Also was a lot about whether women should get largely muscular. And so you had Bev Francis from Australia, who's kind of leading that. She was a former powerlifter. And, so just a couple interesting things. Well, Bev Francis and Rachel McClish, let me just say that neither of them will win the Ms. Olympia contest that year. But maybe you should watch it and then you'll find out who did. So, Daniel, what did you think of the women in Pumping Iron 2?
It was fantastic.
What was your favorite part?
Body
part.
Okay.
What was your favorite part of the movie?
Pumping Iron 2.
Pumping Iron 2.
You mean that guy who was wearing a thong?
A guy who was wearing a thong?
That's right. Whose boyfriend is that?
Oh, yes. Lori Bowen, who seems like a very nice person. You can look her up on Facebook. Her husband.
Mm-hmm.
Making ends meet.
And it is called Pumping Iron 2: the women.
There you go.
Okay.
And then many years later, Generation Iron. And what's this, a collector's edition?
Yeah. We own 2 copies of Generation Iron.
And so what's Generation Iron about? First of all, when did it come out?
What year is that? 2013.
2013. So a big gap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'll get the math wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But Generation Iron is about the current generation of bodybuilding, which has gone through quite an evolution since Arnold's day. Some would say steroid fueled. Some would say taking it up a notch. Who's to say? You'll have to watch it to find out. But it features the likes of Phil Heath, Kai Green, who else?
Our favorite, Branch Warren. I like his horse the best.
Branch Warren. Do you remember any of the names in Generation Iron?
I know the family.
Which family?
You know, the kid and the girl.
Oh, with Dennis Wolf, his
Yeah.
family?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Dennis Wolf, Victor Martinez, and his troubled past,
Mm-hmm.
and also Hideto Yamagishi, I believe his name is, and Ben Bukolski.
Right.
So,
So, Danny, what's your take on Generation Iron? What do you think? How does it compare to the pumping irons? Did you enjoy it?
Oh, I do enjoy it.
what's your favorite part of Generation Iron?
My favorite part is the pump.
The pump.
Yeah.
So the workout scenes, the training
Yeah.
montages, some of those can be pretty cool. Even seeing Goofball Branch Warren.
Yeah.
Doing his
Get
job.
out of my face.
Yeah, get out of my face.
Get out of my face.
Yeah, so,
I want you to be here filming me, but get out of my face.
right. But seeing those guys train is cool. It's just like in the first one, that's part of the charm. Is that, while it's also comedic and goofy and freak showish, it also is kind of motivating. Getting to see these guys just kind of put their all into this sport. Because no matter how goofy these get, and we go into Generation Iron 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the way, I think it's easy to just see this as a freak show, as goofy, but it really is the toughest sport, because it is. It's 24/7, 365, whether it is actually training and dieting, or it's, the other part where you're sticking stuff in your butt. Either way, it's got the most risk,
Yeah.
most wear and tear.
Like a lot of sports, it's lifestyle as much as it is a sport. My take on it, because I'm old and crappy, I guess, is I don't really like Generation Iron as much as Pumping Iron, because Pumping Iron is kind of lighthearted, doesn't take itself too seriously. Generation Iron takes itself way too seriously, and the individuals, just in my opinion, not as likable as the goofs from Pumping Iron who are having fun with it. So,
And looked better.
yeah, get into the whole thing about that.
Aesthetics.
So anyway, but it's good. It is good inspiration, right? Like to watch it before your workout?
Always.
Maybe we should get a movie called Danny Pumping Iron.
Mm-hmm.
Generation Dan Iron. Okay.
Love that.
So that's Generation Iron. You can stream Generation Iron 2.
And
But for 2, we've all seen it, so what do you think? You have any thoughts about Generation Iron 2?
I think I really have my thoughts about it.
Yeah, kind of more of the same in a way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the most interesting part about Generation Iron 2 is the segment that they focus on women's bodybuilding and how it's starting to fall out of style, both within the bodybuilding community as well as with women in general, because the whole aspect that made it special was the femininity of it and women being able to do this stuff, but that gets lost in the bodybuilding sector of women's fitness, because they end up taking a lot of the same drugs that a lot of the men do, and they lose those female qualities.
The traditional female qualities. And therein lies the debate, you know. But just for those who don't really follow, so in competitions for women, they have different categories, and so you have women's bodybuilding, or you have women's figure,
Figure.
or you have women's bikini. Men's, those two have different categories. So, so men's bodybuilding, men's
there's the physique.
physique,
Men's
and
physique.
so different designations for different preferences.
And within those classes, there's some rivalry and some butting of heads.
Yeah,
Generation
exactly.
Iron 3 gets into that part.
Okay, so yeah, Generation Iron 3. Danny and I have not yet seen it. Christian did, at least see some of it. So, Christian's take on Generation Iron 3.
So, I was saying to Dad before we started filming this that the 3 Generation Iron films kind of take the same sort of approach, and they cover a lot of the same territory, where they talk about this new generation, the pushing the limits a little bit to the extreme every time, a little bit bigger, a little bit leaner, you know, with every new generation. And then they also talk about the drug use and the role that plays. And then there's some rivalry also between the different classes emerging within bodybuilding. So yeah, there's men's physique, which is more just like how a guy would look on the beach, and that's like women's bikini. It's just like very like casual, and some of the more hardcore bodybuilding people look down upon that. But they're the ones taking hormones and testosterone and steroids, and that's why some of them die in their 20s and their 30s, you know, because their bodies can't take it. But not to also miss that in Generation Iron 2, they focus on a guy named Kalen von Mager, who looks quite similar to Arnold himself, at least somewhat, and similar sort of physique and aesthetic as well, for the most part. However, he's also probably using some sort of PED, performance-enhancing drug.
Right.
But there's another documentary on Netflix of just about him. He injured he tore his bicep in a mountain climbing incident, as well as did something with his knee, and it follows his comeback into the sport. So he's one of the up-and-coming people who are featured in Generation Iron 2, and a little bit in 3, I think. Maybe not, but yeah.
Right. So, yeah. So all of them are interesting. They take a look at the sport as an art, as a lifestyle, as a subculture, and it can be done in such a way that it's fun, that it's healthy. It could be done in a different way where it's maybe not as healthy.
Well, it also shows the effects on their families, too, their relationships. Arnold misses his dad's funeral, which I think was actually scripted, but I don't know. But people's relationships take a downturn, divorces, separations, infidelity.